Hello and welcome to this short presentation where we're going to talk through some tips for the HCPC international application process. So our starting point with an application is to have a look at the standards of proficiency, or SOPs as I'll refer to them in this presentation. And you need to look them up for your specific profession. So they're nice and easy to find. Go onto the HCPC website and look up the SOPs. You'll see for each profession there's 15 standards with sub-standards under each of those. Some of the standards are generic for all professions, and you'll see they're written in bold. Some of the standards are profession specific, so only relevant to that particular profession, and you'll see that those are written in plain text. And these are ultimately what your application is going to be assessed against. Do you, by either education or education and employment experience, meet each and every one of these standards and these substandards? And so in your application, you need to demonstrate to the assessors how you meet each one of these substandards. And so I'm going to talk through some tips about how you might do that. And you'll see an example of the standards of proficiency. These are for the physiotherapy profession, and I picked standard 12, and under standard 12 you'll see I've only picked the first 6. There's a number of substandards under that. Standard proficiency 12 is to understand and apply the key concepts of the knowledge base relevant to their profession. You'll see those first 4 are relevant to everybody, and then there's a number of sub standards that are relevant just to the physiotherapy profession. And if you look at 12.6, there's substandards under those the substandards again. So lots and lots of detail in the standards of proficiency. And so when you open these up for the first time, they can feel a little bit daunting, and so just take your time with them, work your way through them, and you'll get a feel for whether you think you meet these or not. If you're unsure or would like to talk them through, then please get in touch with us at Registration Mentors. And the first meeting that we do together is free, so we can sit down, we can talk through them, and we can have a look at them together. So once you've done that and you're ready to start your application, the first thing you need to do is register for a HCPC account. Their website's really quite nice actually, so it's nice and easy to do, and so do that as a starting point. Make a note of your username and password so that you can come back to that anytime. So we're now going to take a look at a few tips for each of the sections on the application form. So section 1 is personal details. Fairly straightforward to complete, asks you all the usual stuff you would expect to see on an application of this nature. Take your time with it. It's really easy to rush this bit because it's nice and straightforward, and have typos in things like email addresses, which then means you have problems later on down the line. So the first big section to complete is around your education, and this is where you demonstrate to the assessors at the HCPC that you meet the standards of proficiency. And so, as I said, you need to have met each and every one of those standards of proficiency either through education or education and experience. So some applicants do it purely through education, and that's if their course that they've done closely aligns to the standards of proficiency. Some courses very much do around the world, others don't. And so it's a little bit out of your control, in all honesty, this. But we need to recognise the areas that we maybe don't meet so we can address those in the next section. So as you'll see, it's a form you download, and you need to upload information about your course, a course handbook, the learning outcomes from your course. So all the details on the website, what you need to upload. Also a section where you can have a narrative, and that's the important bit in order to make it easy for the assessors to look to see that you've met the standards of proficiency. So my big tip for this is don't just upload lots and lots of information about your course without a narrative, because that often is a bit of a challenge for the assessors to find the information. And if you choose to work with us at Registration Mentors, or with your application, we'll spend quite a bit of time with you going through your education and showing you how to format it and how to make it easy for the assessor to link it to the standards of proficiency. There's also an opportunity to upload any additional education you've done. So you may have done some postgraduate education. You may have completed some in-house training, some other CPD. So anything that's relevant to linking to those standards of proficiency, upload them and put a narrative around them. And then that second big section is around employment. And this is probably the section where people or applicants fall short a little bit by not giving the information that they need to give when actually they do meet the standards. So you'll see it's when you go onto the website, there's it's a box that you complete on the website rather than downloading a form, and it asks you the areas that you've worked in, the range of services you've carried out, the types of assessments and treatments and evaluations that you've done. So back to these standards of proficiency. How do we meet them? So give as much detail as you can in this section, and once again, formatting of this is really, really key. So if you're in a profession that uses lots of technology, and technology is really relevant to your profession, include details about the technology that you've used. What versions of the software have you used? How have you used it? If your profession is more therapy based, then what techniques of therapy do you use? How do you assess the service users? How do you implement those assessments? How do you determine if it's been successful or not? So once again, if you choose to work with us at Registration Mentors, we will go through your employment history and talk you through this, and then we will proofread your application before you submit it to highlight where we feel that you've not given enough detail. The next section is around professional registration. So any registration you have, whether that's local registration or whether you're a member of a professional body that's an international professional body, then include anything that you feel is relevant to that and strengthens your application. Section 5 asks you to upload your English language certificate. So get that organised nice and early, and again, quite a straightforward section just to upload that form. And then the final few sections are declarations. So it's declarations around your character, around your health, around whether you've got any convictions. And then it asks you some demographic information, which is more for the HCPC monitoring purposes, where you don't actually have to complete that. There's an option to say that you'd rather not state it. So asking things around ethnicity and disability and marital status, etc. And then there's the final declaration that you need to sign, which is, again, has a number of statements in it, and it comes back to that first thing that first slide that we looked at, where it said, I declare that I meet the HCP standards of proficiency for safe and effective practice for my profession. And ultimately that is what your application is trying to demonstrate. So I hope you found this video useful. Please head over to our website for some more information if you've not come to this video via the website. So there's the link, and I'll add the link into the chat box as well. When you get to our website, you'll see that the services that we offer, which are essentially a one-to-one mentoring service to support you through the application process. You'll see that the first meeting is completely free of charge, absolutely no commitment in terms of that first meeting. An opportunity for you to meet us and decide whether you think we could help you, and also an opportunity for us to meet you, talk through your experience, and determine how likely we think your chances of success are. If you do meet if we feel that you do meet likely to meet the standards of proficiency for your profession, then we'll work with you on a one-to-one basis. We've got some templates that we use. We'll talk you through each of the sections and spend as much time as you need asking questions each of these sections. We'll then proofread your application before you submit that, and again give you some feedback, some detailed feedback on each of those sections. If you feel that you're not quite there yet in terms of meeting the HCPC standards of proficiency, we can have a chat about setting up a bit of a mentoring plan where we can work with you over a period of time, whatever we feel that what would be relevant, to help you build up your experience towards an application at a later date. So thank you again for watching the video, and I look forward to any questions or queries that you have.